We good to go, Sam? All right. Well, good afternoon. It's great to be here for an announcement in Medicine Hat with my colleague, Rebecca Schulz, our Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, and my Medicine Hat MLA colleague, Justin Wright. We're also joined by Ryan Kramer, the President and CEO of Big Marble Farms, and Luca Jungin from Emissions Reduction Alberta. Food security is a major issue in the world, and Alberta can play a major role in ensuring that people around the planet are fed with healthy and sustainable food, thanks to organizations like Big Marble Farms. I believe that Big Marble Farms is home to more than 496,000 cucumber plants, 385,000 tomato plants, and 47,000 grow lights. I stand to be corrected if I've got those numbers wrong, but you can do the math on that. You can do a lot to provide local produce across the province with those kinds of numbers. But high energy costs can put a strain on greenhouse operators and make it harder to provide fresh local produce in every season. And that's why through Emissions Reduction Alberta, we are ensuring that greenhouse operators can have the very best yield while also reducing emissions. This is one of the many areas where we as Albertans are leading the world in innovation and agricultural technology. This latest slate of projects from Emissions Reduction Alberta showcases the very best of the industry, and our government is proud of the work that is being done by Albertans all over the province. So thank you, and with that, I will turn it over to the MLA for Cypress Medicine Hat, Justin Wright.
Thank you, Premier. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. My name is Justin Wright. I'm the MLA for the charming constituency of Cypress Medicine Hat, and it's a great pleasure to be here at Big Marble Farms today. It's been a great honor to advocate on behalf of this innovative undertaking by Big Marble Farms. Everyone here knows that Cypress Medicine Hat is a hotbed of innovation. We are always looking for ways to do things better, bigger, and faster. Big Marble Farms is a great example of what makes this region special. I'm excited to celebrate their latest project. This is the type of project that creates jobs, fosters growth, and drives innovation. Joining us here today is the Honorable Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, Rebecca Schulz, Luca Jungin from Emissions Reduction Alberta, and Ryan Kramer from the CEO of Big Marble Farms. I'll now invite Minister Schulz to make today's announcement. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, MLA Wright, and thank you, Premier, for being here as well today. It is so exciting to be here at Big Marble Farms. I can tell you that your cucumbers are my son's #1 favorite vegetable, although the amount of vegetables he eats is a short list, but I will say you are very much at the top, and it is so exciting to be here today. This family-run greenhouse has been growing fresh vegetables for Albertans all year round for over 3 decades. Greenhouses like this are an important part of our ag industry here in Alberta. You support jobs, feed our communities, and keep our economy growing and strong. You're a leader in sustainable farming, the sweetest pepper varieties in Canada, and today we're celebrating another big step forward. With $2.2 million in funding support through Emissions Reduction Alberta, Big Marble Farms is installing 5,000 new grow lights this fall. With these upgrades, Big Marble will grow more vegetables faster and at a lower cost. That means more fresh, local produce on Alberta's grocery shelves. It also means nearly $2 million in savings on energy bills and a smaller environmental footprint and fewer emissions. This is good news for our environment, it's great news for our economy, and it's good news for every single Albertan. High energy costs, as the Premier said, are putting pressure on greenhouse operators, and when they struggle, of course, our food supply does too. So by helping them invest in technology, we're building a stronger, more reliable food system that Albertans can count on. We're lowering costs, boosting production, and keeping Alberta at the forefront of innovation. Not a surprise for anybody here in this room today. This new lighting system will be up and running by November. That is fast. That is impact. And that's the kind of forward-thinking investments that Alberta is known for. So with that, I'll pass things on over to Emissions Reduction Alberta to tell you a little bit more about this program and this project.
Thank you, Premier Smith, Minister Schulz, and Minister Wright. As always, ERA appreciates the support of the Government of Alberta. Ryan, it's great to be here today. We appreciate you and your team for hosting us. and of course for taking part in our SEMI program. My name is Luca Youngin, Director of Energy Efficiency Programming with ERA. In this role, I've had the pleasure of working closely with Big Marble Farms over the years. Not just with this project, but with others through our Energy Savings for Business program, a precursor to SEMI. Improving the efficiency of Alberta's industrial and manufacturing processes and facilities is the quickest, most cost-effective way to lower your energy bills and stay competitive. Low-hanging fruit, if you will. But it takes knowledge, expertise, training, and capital, lots of it. This $50 million program targets key industries in Alberta: agriculture, forestry, mining, quarrying, utilities, construction, manufacturing, transportation, and many more. Eligible facilities can access up to $50,000 for energy assessments and audits, up to $250,000 to implement energy management information systems, up to $100,000 to participate in strategic energy management training, and up to $1 million to invest in energy efficient, capital efficient retrofit projects. At its core, this program is about setting up Alberta's industrial and manufacturing facilities for long-term energy management success, building stronger in-house expertise, and ongoing cost and energy savings. We launched the SEMI program 11 months ago and has been a huge success. We've approved over 160 projects to date. We've launched 8 strategic energy management training groups. So far, we've allocated over $13 million in program funding. At our current pace with this high demand, the program will likely be fully subscribed before our anticipated end date of March 2027. But it's not the money invested or the demand that's the real story, it's the impact. The SEMI program is expected to deliver over $150 million in economic activity, over 1,250 jobs, direct and indirect, in Alberta, up to $100 million of energy expenditure reductions, and 24 million tons of lifetime emissions reductions from capital project implementations. And Big Marble is one of an expected 200 facilities we anticipate participating in SEMI. This program is a real success story in the province. With that, I encourage everyone to visit eralberta.ca/SEMI. I will now hand things over to Ryan Kramer, President and CEO of Big Marble Farms.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to say a huge thank you to Emissions Reduction Alberta, their Strategic Energy Management for Industry program, and the Government of Alberta for this incredible $2.2 million grant. Your support means so much to us at Big Marble Farms, and it shows real commitment to innovation and sustainability in agriculture. Now, for those of you that might not know what it takes to grow year-round here in southern Alberta, we start by adding light and extending our day as early as September. And then we slowly stretch the day until the cucumbers are getting 20 hours of light and our tomato plants are getting 18 hours of light. So I've always found it interesting that even with all of the lights on, the intensity still can't match what we're seeing right now here on this hazy, smoky September day. And this is why we make up for it with longer days. This funding is helping us to take a big step forward. We're replacing every second high-pressure sodium light in 1/4 of our growing area with a new LED fixture that puts out nearly twice the light of the ones that they're replacing with the same electricity input. By alternating them, we're boosting total light levels by 50%. And here's the exciting part. We've done a 2.5-acre trial over the past year, and we've already proven that this leads up to a 15% increase in production. That means more food with the same footprint. This will be a $5 million project overall, and we're excited and proud to be investing $3 million of our own funds alongside this grant. That's how much we believe in this technology and in its future for farming. Now, if we applied this across all of our lit acreage, it would be like expanding 70 acres to 80 acres of greenhouse production area without using up more land or building more greenhouses. This is a sustainability success story. Smarter lighting, greater efficiency, and more food for Western Canada. Once again, thank you to Emissions Reduction Alberta, the Strategic Energy Management for Industry program, and the Government of Alberta for making this possible. Together, we're building a brighter, stronger, and more sustainable future, and we're living out our promise of always growing. Thank you.
Thank you to our speakers. Thank you everyone for being here today. We'll enter our media Q&A portion of the announcement. We'll start off with questions here on the floor before making our way to the phones if we have some time. I'd invite local media to come up to the mic first if you have a question, and we'll go from there. Seeing none, go ahead, Matt.
Matt Skates, Canadian Press. This question for the Premier. Hi, Premier. The province confirmed today it's pausing the ministerial order on books with graphic sexual content in schools. Can you explain the government's thinking on why and what this pause is expected to achieve over this period that's postponed?
Well, it'll be paused for a couple of hours while the ministerial order is rewritten. The direction will be to take books with pornographic images out of the libraries and to leave the classics alone. I think that there was some misunderstanding of the order, so it's being made clear, and the Minister of Environment is going to be making that very clear through a new ministerial order. We have, for the third time, also published the graphic images in the books under question that have been available to children as young as elementary school. So hopefully this third time around, as we repost those images with warning, because they are very graphic, we are hoping that the school boards understand what it is we're trying to achieve.
Okay. Follow up on a separate topic. Premier, government's bill requiring parental consent for students under 16 who want to change their names or pronouns is being challenged in court by Gale, arguing it violates the, quote, rights, safety, and dignity of gender diverse students. What's your response to that?
I disagree. I mean, we acknowledge that as children get older along a spectrum of maturity, that they're able to make more and more of their decisions themselves. I think it was well understood that children aged 15 and under are under the supervision of their parents, and that it's you can't have another adult making decisions over their lives without including their parents. So the issue that we've put in place, or the direction we put in place, is that any social transition that is occurring has to include the parental consent and also be informed if it's 15 and under, and then age 16 and over just be informed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our next at the mic.
Quinn Keenan with CTV News. Premier, when could we expect to see a full, I guess, updated list on which books are or aren't being banned in public library or school libraries?
Well, what I would say is as I mentioned, it's images that we're concerned about, graphic images, and I'll have we were hoping that the school boards would be able to identify those on their own and work with us to try to make sure that pornographic images are not being shown to young children. Clearly, we have to be a bit more directive on that. So the minister is going to look at the list of books that Edmonton Public identified, and then we'll be able to give more clear direction. But with the ministerial order that he's reissuing, to focus on pornographic images with examples and titles of at least 4 books. I'm hoping that we'll give pretty clear guidance to the school boards of what it is we're looking for. If they need us to give them more clear guidance with a more comprehensive list of the images that we're concerned about, then I'll work with the education minister on that. But we're just not interested in seeing a new book list published every single day that is purposely misunderstanding what it is we're trying to do. What I would like for the school boards to say is, we agree, children shouldn't see pornographic images. We'll work with you on that. And that's what I hope the new spirit going forward will be.
And I was just wondering if you could provide an update on negotiations with the ATA, just where things are at right now. Lots of folks are concerned on the first day of school here with a potential strike looming. Just where are we at right now?
I think we all share the same objective of keeping kids in school. And we were disappointed that the ATA leadership walked away from the bargaining table last week. When we were negotiating with the nurses and had the same basic deal on the table, 12% over 4 years, 3% per year. One of the ways that we got to an agreement was agreeing to hire 1,000 new nurses full-time right out of school, and that helped us to get to the finish line. The teachers told us that's what they wanted too. We offered it, and then they said, well, since you're willing to put that on the table, don't hire those teachers and just give us the money instead. So I think that maybe teachers need to talk to their union representation and see if that reflects what they're telling them, because that's not what teachers are telling us. Teachers are telling us they need more hands on deck. They need more hands in the classroom, whether it's teachers or whether it's education assistants. We put a fair deal on the table that has been approved, that same basic structure, by more than half of our unions right now. And so I am really hopeful that perhaps on reconsideration and maybe with some consultation on the front line with their members, that they'll come back to the table so that we can really start sorting out the issues around complexity and support in the classroom, which is what we hear are really the issues teachers want us to address.
We'll go to our next mic.
Hi there, Colin Gallant, CBC News. Driving down here, I'm sure you saw the line reconstruction, power line reconstruction that was happening around Brooks. And, you know, we're talking about renewable or reducing carbon footprint. Today, a lot of renewable energy producers in the region say they need line reinforcement, a new line, a new loop in the south, but that'll take 2 years to know what the rules are for that, and then perhaps another 5 to 7 years to build a line. How is that process going? Do you see the need for line expansion down here?
Well, my understanding is part of the reason why they were able to restore power in 24 hours, and bravo to AltaLink, to the Fortis, and to the subcontractors at I think Arctic. I can't remember the name of them, but the three of them worked tirelessly to be able to restore power. And part of it is because there is redundancy. And so there is going to be a longer period of time for them to do the reconstruction, but at least the power was restored. I did ask if there was any desire or ability for us to start looking at burying the lines so that we don't end up with this potential. It's just the distances are so vast, it would be so expensive. And so those are the considerations, is with the vast distances that we have in Alberta, there are some drawbacks to having the wood power poles. Those can also snap and break. There are some drawbacks that happen when you end up with those high winds. It can crumple some of those towers. But my understanding is that the reason why we were able to restore so quickly is because there's some redundancy. I haven't talked to my utilities minister about whether there's going to be additional redundancy built in.
Okay, and we've also seen a little bit of action this week, or some new rules about the energy market come out that suggests differential pricing that will hurt producers and the generators in the southeast because of that line capacity, reduced or limited line capacity, including the city of Medicine Hat, which is gas-fired. You say you want more power on the grid, but it's going to take, like I said, 5 or 7 years to get there. People are worried.
I think that what we're aiming to do is twofold. One is we know that we're gas constrained because of pipeline access down here, and we've been having conversations with our pipeline companies about how to address that issue. The second issue is that we want to be pricing new transmission lines based on where they're needed. There is lots of transmission that is built that just adds cost with very small incremental benefit. And in those cases, the proponent is going to have to pay more of the cost to hook up to the grid. In areas where we do need the power because there is constraint, then the proponent is going to pay less to be on the grid. So that's sort of the basic architecture of what it is that the utilities minister is proposing. But I would encourage you to follow up with this department if you want any more specific responses on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for 2 more questions. We'll take our last 2 from the room here.
Justin Sibbett, Global News. I'd be interested in getting your opinion on if you've had a chance to read Margaret Atwood's story and how you were portrayed in it. Would there be a response to that? And did that change at all with this
No, I didn't
decision
read
to pause?
it.
Okay. Does it concern you, I guess, then just with that she basically compared you to the blue dress housewife in her original Handmaid's Tale?
Well, I'd encourage her to look at the graphic images I posted. It includes oral sex, it includes threesomes, it includes a child having their pants pulled down by an adult. I mean, do I need to be any more clear about what graphic images that we are trying to remove from the school libraries? We are not trying to remove classics of literature. What we are trying to remove is graphic images that young children should not be having a look at. Please go and have a look at them yourself and use whatever discretion you feel you need to describe that to your audience without offending them. But that is what we are trying to remove from the school libraries. There has been some willful and purposeful misrepresentation and misunderstanding of the policy. I hate to have to be so graphic, but you know what? Those images shouldn't be shown to kids in elementary schools. So I hope that the school boards will work with us to remove pornographic images and leave classic books alone.
And then just a slightly similar topic, but Skipping Stone considering launching a lawsuit regarding the bill's 27 pronouns, girls declaring that they're girls before sports. I guess what would the government plan to do in response?
Oh, well, I can tell you, I mean, we have to make sure that we're balancing everyone's rights. And so when it comes to girls and women being able to compete fairly in sport, we want girls and women to be able to compete against other girls and women and to be able to provide co-ed opportunities for those who are born a different gender. We want to make sure there's opportunities for everyone. But I think that we are watching the global discussion about fairness in sport. There are certain sports that give an advantage to somebody who's born male, and we don't want to disadvantage girls and women. The reason why we have girls and women categories is because we recognize that men are stronger and men have, in some cases, more stamina. There's biological differences, so we want to make sure everyone has the ability to compete, but we want to make sure women and girls can compete fairly. And we'll see how the court process plays out. I mean, the way our Charter of Rights is written is that we have to make sure that it's reasonable and that it's evidence-based, and we think they are. We'll be putting forward that argument, and we'll be working as well to make sure that everyone has a chance to compete fairly. But sometimes a co-ed division is going to be the best avenue for people to compete.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one last question. We'll go to the mic here.
Eli Ritter, CBC News. My question goes to the Premier and MLA Wright. A big story here recently has been the mustard seed. It recently identified a potential new location, hoping to get in there by winter. There's a lot of city-level things that need to happen, approvals, but is there anything the province is doing to maybe help out that process? And I did talk to the CEO, and he said that there might be a need for renovations. Would the province help with that? Anything you can say on those?
Sure. I'll turn it over to Justin Wright, because I know he has not only been working very closely with the council on this, but also working with our Minister of Assisted Living and Social Services, Jason Nixon. So, MLA Wright.
Thanks, Premier, and thanks, Eli, for the question. You know, ultimately what needs to happen first is council still needs to find a location that is defined with proper zoning before anything can move forward. While there is avenues and different grants through CBO funding that the provinces currently have at this point in time, we can't move forward with anything until the city has gone through the appropriate zoning process. If you recall, just last year, the zoning was repealed on the previous mustard seed location because it wasn't properly zoned. We don't want to put the community or those vulnerable at risk by having another situation of improperly zoned facilities operating within the community. So our stance has very much been the city needs to identify locations, properly zone it before the province can get involved with the appropriate funding of any facility and or renovations at this point in time.
Just as a follow-up, I guess that means you're not closing the door on necessarily helping with funding for renovations, that kind of thing, if the process moves forward.
Yeah, we just need the process to move forward at an appropriate pace and make sure that public consultation gets done first. Whatever location is identified is zoned appropriately, and then we can absolutely continue to have those conversations both at the local level with the service provider or Medicine Hat Community Housing, as well as at the provincial funding level through our various CBO funding that we have available through that ministry.
Thank you. That's all the time we have for questions, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.